Hi everyone, Beth Sager with Alex Local, and I hit the jackpot. We met at the Lexington Chamber of Commerce networking event, and Shivani Munjal runs this service called Provital, which
That's right.
is like near and dear to my heart because I work with a lot of seniors,
Uh-huh.
and that's what you do. So tell us about your service.
Yeah, so Provital Senior Placement and Home Care. So I work with the assisted living communities in the area. So finding senior living options for our seniors, whether they want to move into an independent living, assisted living, or memory care. I can help them navigate that whole process. And it's a free service to the seniors and their
Which is
families.
crazy. That's so awesome.
Yeah, so I wanted to find a business model where I actually don't have to charge the seniors. And I did. And I do get compensated through the provider network with the communities I work with. But what helps the seniors is, and the families, is having a consultant who can hold their hand throughout the process, because it is a lot, not in just in terms of, figuring out your finances. You may be selling a home, for instance, right? You may be living in a home for the last 40, 50 years, have lots of memories. So there's a lot of emotional issues and hurdles you have to get over as well. So it's not an easy kind of a step, or not a step that anybody really wants to leave their home. It's a very difficult emotional decision to have to do that, not only just for the individual who's moving, but also for the family. Having said that, I hope I make that transition as smooth as possible. So I do have a network of professionals I work with, from estate planners to real estate agents, as well as moving and organizing companies. They can help facilitate all the things that need to, and all the moving pieces that need to kind of come together. I do have a 4-step kind of framework that I've developed myself. It's in the brochure here, where I go through an initial consultation, and that may be a couple of times I meet with the family. I sit down, we talk through what mom and dad used to do as a profession, because that has a lot of impact on what they would like to do, or what kind of community and culture they would like to be living in their later stage in life. Then we talk through the financial, right? And sometimes finances are a non-issue, because they have some sort of a passive income coming, which is great. But a lot of times folks are in the situation where they're spending down. So I look at the finances. I'll do a financial analysis with them to make sure I get them into a community where they're not going to run out of funds. And if they do, there's programs in place that can help them, right? So I do have a vast knowledge of the government subsidies and other programs, and not every community has those options. So I make sure I match you to the right community, given your financial situation, as well as your social emotional needs, your location preferences, lifestyle preferences. So once I figure that out in the first phase, right, of this framework, then we move on to the next part, which is coming up with a list of 3 or 4 communities that meet that criteria. And then I'll take them on tours. So we go on tours together, and really during the tours is when you find out, do I really like this place? What's the feel of this place? How is the staff interacting with the residents? What are the residents like? Their age groups and all of those things. And then, they decide to move in. It's, at the end of the day, it's their decision, which community they like. So that's kind of the process of what I go through with my clients, and to help them kind of smooth this transition in life, which is not one that, as I said, is not one that a lot of people look forward to.
Right. How long do you think your process takes?
So, I can do it in as little as 48 hours. So I have clients that are in in a hospital and a rehab, where they've had a medical episode or a fall or an injury, and due to that they can no longer live at home independently. So I do get calls from the rehabs or the hospitals, and that, so and so needs to move within 48 hours because they're getting discharged in that amount of time. So I've placed people in as little as that amount. And then I have clients on the longer horizon, right? So they need to they have a home or a condo that they need to sell before they can move in. But they've started the process of that journey. So, sometimes they take like 6 to 8 months. So anywhere between that is kind of the time frame.
Interesting. And how did you get into this work?
So, interesting you asked that. I worked in corporate America, 20 plus years. So I didn't plan to have my own business, but an opportunity came where the company I was working with had financial issues. So I took a package, and there was some, light bulb in my head which said I'm going to be just fine because there was some other plan that I need to be on a different path. So I started exploring what things would interest me as a business owner, and what would get me out of bed every morning. And a few years ago, I'd gone through a similar journey with my own mom, where her health situation changed almost overnight. And as a family, we had to figure out then, how do we stabilize mom? How to, get her the care services that she needs. So I hadn't gone through that few years prior. And then, having the opportunity to start my own business, this is what I decided to do.
Interesting. Very interesting. So what else do people need to know about this?
Yeah, so I will mention there is, so the assisted living is not a permanent move. A lot of people think of it as a permanent move, and they feel like, once I move in, I can't go back. That's not the case. It's these are rental units, so you are on a month-to-month rental basis. You can move in and out if you choose to, and most places will, just take a 30-day notice. And another option for anyone who's, need that extra care, that extra 24/7 oversight, and, having nurses, oversight as well, may use assisted living as a short-term stay. And really, I, for instance, had a client who had a very complex surgery, and her Medicare days were running out. She wasn't eligible to stay in the hospital any longer. And upon discharge, she wasn't able to go home because she wasn't physically ready to go home yet. So, she ended up staying for 30 days in a place where, she has all the services available. She was able to get her physical therapy and occupational therapy on site. But it gave her that, that little cushion to really get back on her feet and not have to go home where, after a surgery, you have time and you're probably going to end up doing more chores. Right, you're going to see things that need to be done. So anyway, she didn't want to deal with all of that, and she really wanted to concentrate on her own health. And all the meals are included, right? So you don't have to worry about cooking or anything else. It's kind of like an all-inclusive package. I think of it as, when you go on vacation, you can either pay for your flight, your hotel, your transportation separately, or you pay this one monthly fee and you get your meals included. And a lot of people end up giving up their cars because they don't need them anymore. There's shuttle services and there's rides available to appointments, and lots of activities going on during the day at these communities. So you're engaged, and a lot of people actually end up doing better, even in terms of mental health, because they're not alone, they're not lonely, and they end up making very good friends and very develop long-term relationships with the residents that are part of the community.
Nice. It's great. It's a great business. So, do you only work with certain
communities?
Communities.
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So I'm actually, this is my own business. So I'm not part of a big corporation or a franchise system that only has contracts with certain facilities.
Okay.
I work with all the communities. So my goal is to work with the client, really, understand their situation. As I said, not only just from financial perspective, but also understand you as an individual, and then recommend a community. So I work with all communities, and I don't really have a territory or a set list of towns that I go into. So I'd say all of Massachusetts and the surrounding New England states. I work with all the communities, and it depends on case by case, because if you're a client, you probably have maybe 1 or 2 towns that you want to live in, right? Not a lot. So depending on the client, I find the communities that match their preference.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you.